Hey everyone, today we're going to be doing an experiment with these two containers of popcorn. This one is brand new, this one is super old. Basically we're going to put them in pots today side by side under the same exact condition, same burner setting, same everything. We're going to see which one pops first. It's going to be a race. So this container of Jolly Time was packaged back in 1961. And this container, the Best By date, is about 3 years after that, so figure 1954 was this thing's Best By date. I opened this and popped some in a previous video. It pops perfectly. This here is another container of Jolly Time that I just bought at the store. This was packaged this year, 2019. This one does not go bad. It says until August 2021. We're going to put both of these into a pan or pot and see which one pops first. So this one here I preserved in a bag. So we can actually look at this. Does the corn look the same? These ones are a little bit darker than these. But they basically look the same. These ones here are a little bit dried out, but they still work. And this one here on the container, if you read carefully, this one says high popping hybrid. So did something change for them to put that hybrid? Okay, we're going to try these things out. I'll show the entire packaging at the end of the video if anyone wants to see that. Okay, so on this stove, these three burners are exactly the same. This one here gives off more heat. For this experiment, we'll be using the back two burners on the exact same heat setting. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn them on. Number 6 seems like a good bet. Right in the middle. Okay, so they're both on number 6, so this will be fair. Both of the flames are burning exactly the same. You have a clock right here, so you can see exactly how long it takes. I have 2 pots. The bottom is the same size on each. Vegetable oil here, they're both going to get 1 tablespoon in each pot. I'll show you a side-by-side comparison of the kernels at the end. So this is the first time ever opening this container. I'm figuring I'm going to put a 1/4 cup of each of the kernels in here. Then I'm going to back them up exactly at the same time so this race will be completely fair. So the new kernels, I'm going to fill this up so we have probably a 1/4 cup seems good. Yeah, we got a 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup's a good amount. Get my old kernels. Gonna fill that up with a 1/4. I think there's actually more because the older kernels seem smaller. Gotta get that perfect, that 1/4 mark. Okay, that seems pretty good, right? Give them a good stir, get them all oiled up before we put them onto the flame. Good stir. I'm going to shake these up now so it's evenly distributed. Other one. You see the older ones fill more of the bottom of the pan because they're smaller. You can actually see the color difference there a little. Both of the burners are on exactly the same. I have them both set to number 5 right now. We're going to go ahead and start this now. See how long this takes. I'm not going to lift up the pots once. Occasionally I'll stir them. I'm going to see how long this takes. I can hear some sizzling starting. That's what we got. This is going to start any second. They're really sizzling. I don't think we have anything going yet. Nope. Got to get my covers ready. Lots of sizzling starting. Making sure. No popping yet. Oh, we have a winner, the new one. Let's see how far behind the old one is. Oh, number 2 from that pot. 3. Oh, now that's one's popping. It was only a few seconds behind. That's pretty good. Okay, now look at the difference. The older ones are much smaller when they're popping. That's just what they were back then. Most of them were smaller. We'll let this go on a minute. Then I gotta put the covers on. This is kind of funny. It's flying everywhere. Okay, so they both worked. This one is our winner. That one's not far behind. I gotta get the covers on now. I don't have 2 covers. I can't find the cover on this one. I'm just gonna put a piece of foil over it. That's pretty awesome. I should start melting butter for this. Removing the heat, they're off. Heat is both off because I don't want this to start burning. Looks like we did pretty good. That's the new popcorn, much bigger. Popcorn back then was just smaller. Let's see what we got. Still have a few more pops. But you see, I added equal amounts to both of them, right? You see, on the bottom, all the kernels popped. Oh, we just had one more pop. You see, everything popped in the bottom there. But you see, this one almost filled the entire pan. Yes, this pan's bigger, but you can see there's clearly more of the new one. Because back then, kernels were just smaller. You could see they were smaller. This one here says it's a hybrid, so they did something to the corn over all these years. Like you can see, this one here, there's so much kernel, but so little popcorn. These days there's less kernel, but a lot more popcorn. So they definitely messed around with growing this. They were definitely selective when they were crossbreeding this. Yeah, look at that. But I can't find really, and there's a few in there that like half popped, but I guess it really stands up to their money back warranty, guaranteed to pop and all that. That really works, right? So this is pretty fun. Just gonna go shut this off now. Yeah. So, is it going to taste the same? I think it's going to taste exactly the same. Take a few pieces of this. Tastes fine. I'm going to swallow that so I can get a taste of the other one. Get some of this one. This is the kind that gets really stuck in your teeth. Okay, let's get a little bit of that. Really, I can't taste the difference. They tasted pretty much the same. Exactly the same. But people were right about this. The older kernels did look a little off. They definitely did some genetic engineering. I don't think you'd even call it that. It's just selective growing. And they got the better crop here. This is white popcorn. Usually when you go ahead and get popcorn, most of the time people buy yellow, but Jolly Time only sells white popcorn in the supermarket now. Back in the day, they sold both. See? Both. This one here, the inside's paper. This one here, the entire can's metal. Like, this here is from the early 60s. This one here, what's the date on this one? Okay, this one here was packaged in 1954. This was packaged in 1961. This was back then was actually metal. Like you see, this is nice. It's actually painted on there. There's no label. This one here is a piece of cardboard from the 60s. This one's metal. This one's aluminum. Really nice. This one I don't plan on opening this. I plan on just keeping this in my collection. Maybe I'll do something with that way in the future. But now I better show you guys the kernels on these. Okay, so here's the difference. These ones here are noticeably a little bit bigger. These ones here are noticeably lighter in color. These ones are darker and kind of shriveled up from losing their moisture over the years. But they do still have moisture or they wouldn't have popped. These ones here, when they pop, they're very small and have a lot of kernel. When these ones pop, they're really huge. Because if you look at them, I think these ones are lighter because the kernel is thinner. These ones here, I think they have a thicker kernel. But they both held up. Jolly Time's warranty of guaranteed to pop definitely holds up. Back then, even on coupons, they didn't put expiration dates on their warranties or any of that. So, who knows, they might still honor that. But it popped. If it didn't pop, you must have done something to the can. It must have been punctured. You must have stored it in high humidity, some awful conditions. But this was stored perfectly. They both taste awesome. They're both great products. I hope this video was interesting. And also, I got some comments saying, what'll happen if I try really old microwave popcorn? Microwaves didn't become big until the 80s. They were around in the 60s, but very rare. I'm working on trying to find a bag of popcorn from the 80s or 90s to see if that'll work. I highly doubt it because it's sitting in oil. Something like that, I figure after 2 to 5 years it wouldn't pop because it's sitting in oil and butter, all that kind of stuff inside the bag. I don't think it'll work, but I'm going to try to get my hands on a very old microwave bag. Don't worry, these aren't going to waste. I'm about to go sit down and watch some TV and I'll finish both of these. They are completely perfect. Now, before you comment that this is not a fair comparison because this is super old, right? They both have to be brand new for the comparison. And also something else that may interrupt the results is how this was stored over the years. It's unknown how it was stored. It's just known that it was stored very well because the container looks brand new.